Personally, I also have issues with online stuff because I don't. Our internet and online stuff is not utmost protected. Just a link will cause your WhatsApp hacked. So people don't trust online stuff. Whereas their data protected from the roots. The problem is not the system. The problem is that you're bringing the system, you're bringing the fruit without a tree. You just bring a maybe, let me say, a plastic mango tree and putting a real fruit on it. Plant the seed and you will see if people refuse to pay the taxes. Just give us the, for example, you hear debating it should stay because you know you can operate it. You look into the tax laws and look for how to evade the tax. You know how to manipulate the system and you go spot. They don't know. So it is pinching them to the head. Thank you very much. God bless you.
Please remember to only stamp your feet and don't clap. Yes, that has been a very passionate deliberation. The move of the motion, you have 1 minute to make your closing arguments and then we shall vote.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Maybe to react on what my Honorable colleague has said, this free system has been tried out in several East African countries and it has been a success. Looking at our tax burden right now of around 11.5%, we need these systems because these traders are so wise. They try to dodge these taxes. But as with any new system, they need to sensitize the traders on the use of the free system cannot be overlooked. The use of the free system comes with the requirement for business to train personnel on the EFRIS as well as investment in data and system. In addition, there continues to be a conflict who is required to register for EFRIS since taxpayers are denied a deduction for expenses in their income tax returns where purchases of goods and services are not supported with electronic invoices. This means that even though it is not mandatory for non-VAT registered persons to issue electronic invoices, they need to provide e-receipts to their customers so that customers can enjoy a deduction in their respective income tax returns. So, honorable members, if this system is if government sensitizes the masses on how to use every system, there will be a smooth transition. This will be through the training and awareness campaigns which will ensure a smooth transition from the manual to the electronic system, minimizing disruptions to businesses and taxpayers. There will be an improved understanding between government and the people. It will ensure the stakeholders understand the benefits, features, and usage of EFRIS, reducing errors and resistance to change. Even proper bookkeeping. Yes, people are saying EFRIS is double taxation, what, this and this and this. But if you've paid your VAT, there's no way URA will come to your door in the next month that you have not paid your taxes. It is automatic. And we shall be even saving on the costs the government is incurring to employ these people who are going to look for taxes. Some of them are even brutal. So we shall have saved all this. So, honorable members, I would like to urge you to vote for this motion. I beg to submit, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, thank you for using your time well, honorable member. So, my colleagues, the Honorable House, before us is a motion urging government to conduct comprehensive training and public awareness campaigns for the successful implementation of the electronic fiscal receipting and invoicing system. And we've had a number of submissions. And before you now is the opportunity to vote for this motion. What is your response? The ayes have it. This motion has been passed.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. We should all agree that yes, no one would like to pay taxes because taxes are hectic. It's just like injections in the hospital. They cannot, no one will go and say, I want an injection. So the government should come out on board and first teach us about all these systems before, just like any other laws, just like these other laws about land, about mortgages, what? Because recently I was seeing my uncle crying in court because of tax arrears from URA. Chirumira, that means that even the rich don't want to pay taxes. But then how do you go about trying to bring these people on board? Okay, thank you for that. Then we move to motion 7.3. Motion urging government to take immediate action to address the escalating corruption scandals in Uganda and to ensure the effective prosecution of those implicated to restore transparency and accountability to its citizens. The move of this motion is Honorable Ngabo Timothy.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker and the members of the House. My name is Ngabo Timothy and I'm from Gomba District. I'm here to move a motion urging government to take immediate action to address the escalating corruption scandals in Uganda and to ensure the effective prosecution of those implicated and to restore transparency and accountability to its citizens. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Member. I'd like to request the movers of the seconders of this motion, Albert and Sisi, to come up and second this motion.
Once again, my name is Mwanika Jona Albert from Itiana District. I second the motion urging government to take immediate action to address the escalating corruption scandals in Uganda and to ensure the effective prosecution of those implicated to restore transparency and accountability to its citizens. I beg to submit.
Good afternoon to you all, right honorable members. My name is Sisi Sylvia Samuel, representing Kayunga District, and I second the motion, a motion urging government to take immediate action to address the escalating corruption scandals in Uganda and to ensure the effective prosecution of those implicated to restore transparency and accountability to its citizens. I beg to submit. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Honorable Member, come and give us arguments for this motion.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I believe that government should take drastic steps towards curbing down corruption, and in this way, it should ensure that prosecution of the fellows that have been caught in these scandals are dealt with, and I'm here to give my reasons. I believe immediate action should be taken against fellows that have been caught in these scandals through having transparent and independent investigations. Members, I believe that for us to actually do the right things, these investigations should actually be carried out independently. Second, I believe government must strengthen the judiciary and the anti-corruption agencies to independently carry out their roles. We believe that for the different arms of government to actually do the right things, we believe they must be independent. Members of these agencies must be able to take independent decisions without interference of other government officials. I believe just recently, Ministry of ICT invented a system where government was going to carry out procurement using the online system. It's actually called the e-government procurement system. And in this way, we believe that through using this system, we'll have transparent and we will actually avoid cases of being corrupt. We'll avoid government officials who will ask some money from, the different people that are going to actually request for these tenders. My other reason, I believe that as government, we should actually benchmark with other countries to find out how are they actually dealing with corruption. What are those measures? What measures are they actually using to actually fight corruption? And in this case, I believe these other countries actually, when you look at countries like maybe say Rwanda, you all know that actually corruption is not tolerated there. And it's because of how they actually handle it. So I believe if we benchmark with those other countries, we can actually find out what are those practices that these other countries are actually using to actually fight corruption. And I believe through through these practices, I believe we can, learn one or two things, and actually they can actually also help us with, the technical support to actually help us deal with this issue, because it's actually eating us up. I was actually reading a report from IGG's report. It actually showed that we lose 9.44 billion. We lose about 9 billion per year, because of corruption. Daily Monitor also quoted that we actually lose 1 million per hour due to corruption. So members, I believe this is a lot of money that can actually be used in other things, and the only way that we as the House can move forward to, deliver services to the people is to help us and, come up with ideas on how to curb down corruption. I also believe one of the other ways we can actually
Summarize.
thank you. I believe thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. I request for 30 seconds to conclude. I also believe the other way in which we can actually curb down corruption is if we create systems where our citizens can actually report these cases regularly, because I believe when we create systems where transparency is actually going to be prevailed, because you can't be everywhere, but these our citizens actually see these things happening, especially at the district level. So if we create systems where people can actually report, there's that system I saw that the new State House in charge of corruption created. So through such systems, I believe we can actually fight corruption. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Honorable Member. The Honorable Member has made wonderful arguments for this motion, and it's now before us, the House. What is your say? Should we proceed on deliberating on this motion? Aye. The ayes have it. So before we deliberate, I ask that we pick up on the issue at hand, and it's that we should all be able to submit. I want us to pick an example from our clerk. You have noticed that in as much as he's not able to submit, he will give, his view on a particular motion. So don't sit and go back home without saying something amidst all the procedure. So the floor is open for debate. I want to invite the gentleman behind, and then we shall proceed.
Thank you so much, the Right Honourable Speaker, for the opportunity. My name is Edon Emmanuel, and I'm from Mukono. Mr. Speaker, I stand here with a very heavy heart. Corruption in this country is so alarming. And I look at the young generation that we are, and I see that we are so bothered about this vice that has eaten up our country. I remember when I was studying history, constitutional history in particular, when the NRM government was coming into power, it came into power with the 10-point program. And in particularly, point number 7 was to do with the eradication and elimination of corruption and misuse of power. But it's so sad that from 1986 till to date, that Uganda as a nation has become a champion in corruption, and we are so proud about it. It has eaten us up. It has slowed down progress.
Do you have statistics for us championing?
Of course, we are among the leading countries in corruption. If I'm not mistaken, we are the 3rd. Yes, that is evident. It's very evident. But that aside, Mr. Speaker, it's a topic that has been debated on over and over again. I just want to urge the government to do or take up measures that are a little bit robust and aggressive while handling these issues of corruption. We have in place institutions like the IGG, the Anti-Corruption Unit, that has been established. And some of these they have constitutional mandates to handle corruption. But till to date, when the IGG releases a report, we have one man. It's like power has been consolidated in the commander-in-chief, who does not want a particular arm of the government or particular individuals to be touched with. The level of impunity in this country is so alarming. And I, for one, I believe that if the government is to strengthen these institutions and allow them to exercise their mandate, we'll be reducing on the levels of corruption. However, we need, as individuals, we have been given an opportunity as citizens to report these corruption scandals. As of tomorrow, we are planning a march to Parliament. I will participate in it. But the president the other day warned us.
Honorable member.
Yes, please.
I pray that that is not an invitation to.
No,
the
I'm
House.
not inviting anyone here. I am not withdrawing any statement. I stand on my statement. I was informed earlier on that this is a safe space, and I want to ride on that existing presumption. But also, one thing I urge the government and the citizens of Uganda is that we shouldn't keep quiet. Let's keep on speaking, because as a matter of fact, we have seen that as a result of speaking and exposing this behavior, we are trying to see some of the small fish being implicated because of corruption. So I urge the government and the citizens that we need to embark on increasing accountability, and we need to promote a culture of integrity amongst us. Corruption to be eradicated starts with us, starts with me, starts with you. You're seeing a pen in front of you, you pick more 3 pens and you go out with them. That is corruption. You get? It's not per se aspects to deal with money, but it's wide. So this vice can only be curbed if we are to promote a culture of integrity amongst ourselves, and it will continue. I beg to submit.
Thank you, honorable member. I'll have a lady first, Honorable Natalie, and then.
Thank you so much, Honorable Speaker. I am Natlin Judith Kurora Afayaroth, and I come to submit and affirm the motion of corruption. This is a very pervasive issue that is happening in Uganda. Why? Because it's hindering economic sectors, even democratic institutions, and even trust among ourselves, okay? We can no longer trust ourselves to do certain things because of corruption. This is a very, very big vice in the country. But how can we work to eradicate this? Taking a swift action on the people that are implicated in corruption, regardless of their positions, because recent scandals have showed that there is a widespread of corruption in high offices, okay? Given the fact that these people are in different high offices does not stop the government from implicating them. And after implicating them, we need a progressive report to show that there is something being done about the people that are implicated for corruption. We need to see that our country, of course, it starts with us at the end of the day. Corruption has really, really eaten us up as a country. Let us also strengthen the different institutions that are trying to implicate these people. If we are looking at the IGG's office and different others, but I think I would particularly work on protecting the whistleblowers, okay? If these people are able to report, then they should have institutions, or they should be these institutions should be strengthened to protect them. That when information is given out, there is a safe space where they feel okay, that regardless of what you're saying, it's going to be implemented and later on placed in the right place. Our country needs all of us, and we need to be people of high integrity. Because we are the leaders of today, I will use what he said earlier on. We're not leaders of tomorrow. We need to stand up and face the challenges that is coming onto us. Lastly, I would like to say the government should partner with the different organizations, the media houses, okay, to keep exposing these people and to keep showing us that there is progress on this. So regardless of your position, regardless of the office that you hold, we need these people implicated. because the scandals keep increasing. I beg to submit, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member. Honorable William. Oh, sorry. Apologies. Honorable Emmanuel. Yes, apologies.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. My name is Churana Emmanuel from Kampala region. Right Honorable Speaker, please, I would request you to allow me. I don't have much in my pockets, but I have only 1,000. It is not a bribe. I would like to appreciate the move of this motion, because this is a very pertinent issue in our country. I don't remember the honorable colleague, the move of the motion.
Yes, Honorable. In
Just a
light,
minute. Just
in
allow
light
me.
of the fact that this is a space where we get to advocate for various issues that are being faced by the
Thank you.
various youth, I beg that you keep that 1,000. And he has gotten the opportunity to air out this as an issue. So that appreciation will be given maybe later, but I will not allow
Okay,
it in this
thank
house.
you. Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Please remind me as I leave the floor. I don't move with your 1,000. Dear colleagues, we are very angry in this country. That is the matter of truth. We are very angry, as with the youths. And as the country is bleeding, I want to assure you that the day is tomorrow. Are we together? This is the honest truth. I'm a non-partisan, by the way. I don't align or affiliate to any political party. But any matter that oppresses a fellow Ugandan, I feel concerned. Are we together? With the issue of corruption, regardless of, actually, I don't think we have any medicine for this disease in this country. That's the honest truth. I don't think we have any medicine. But the only procedure we could take, we have to go back in the times of 1972, 1973, 1974, 1975, when His Excellency, the late Idi Amin Dada, was the president of this country. The only problem we are facing currently is that we may not have the opportunity to directly also do the same to the people who are actually being corrupt or engaging in corruption scandals. Because of these organizations that are coming through, like human rights, someone who is a minister, a member of parliament, who is engaging in corruption and has been identified. Why are you taking them in a car with the suits and let him also be treated as a prisoner? Are we together? This is the honest truth. This is the honest truth. These people, they even question us, what are you going to do? As the president is giving speeches saying, come and report those piglets. Report them. Where? Where? Because they are very confident that even if they engage in corruption scandals, none of you has power to do anything upon them. Are we together? I am just very happy about the issue that happened previously, where we saw Honorable Akamba Paul, who involved in the scandal of the money that was mishandled for Buyaka cooperatives. You understand? Many of our colleagues were saying, that's absurd. It's not right. I know most of you here are law students. Oh, some of you, if I'm to say. You understand? And you will defend your judiciary. You understand? That's okay to go in courts of law, someone to be given an opportunity to talk about himself, and we confirm whether he did it or not. But seriously, we are tired of dancing on the same song all the time. There are many times we have been going into courts of law over issues of corruption. But what has been the end result? What are the repercussions? What are the outcomes of it? The same people who are being corrupt today, they are the same people who are moving tomorrow, like the big bosses in the country. But yet, by the way, let me tell you, corruption has levels, eh? Someone engaged in 500 million scandal. We all saw him. The Commissioner of Parliament. I don't want to mention. You understand? Many people, the one who engaged in Buyaka cooperatives, they sold billions of money. You understand? And we get to know them, and things end in air. After we know it, they notify us, after they put us in the dark. Then what's the issue of notifying us about them? I would end by saying, Right Honorable Speaker.
In summary, Honorable Member, I would like to first of all ask you, do you suggest that corruption doesn't have a solution and the government can in fact not in any way work around corruption? Or is it your only suggestion that the government should be brutal against those who have been implicated in corruption scandals, as you summarize?
I'm summarizing. Thank you so much for the little time given. One of the wise men told me one time that if you want to achieve something you have never achieved, you have to do something you've never done. We have been listening to these people for very many times, and I think it is now the time to give a deaf ear to them. The truth is, these people, I think, we have what we call political circumcision. That is the whole truth. Such that if they are engaging in corruption, I'm taking corruption as issues of rape, we circumcise them and we know they are done. Because I won't say we kill them. You understand? That is the only truth. Dear honorable colleagues, we are the youth leaders and we are building the future generation. When we leave this to go as it is, it will never be tampered with any time to come. And the more we leave it to go, the more it becomes rampant and escalating. That's why I was giving that man an appreciation. Because the motion is not asking, how are we overcoming corruption? No. The motion is saying, how can the government take immediate action to address immediate action? Meaning, we have been listening to a lot of issues over time. Now, what can we do now to stop corruption? Thank you so much. I submit.
Yes, there's a gentleman in a grey suit. Thank you very much, honorable member.
Protocol observed. Good afternoon, honorable members. My name is Sebra Abakar. I represent Mukono. Now, on this motion, my colleague who has been here said that he doesn't think that corruption has medicine. Me, personally, I know corruption has medicine. But the problem here in Uganda, the people in offices, they are working for someone. Because the best way here in Uganda to stop corruption, I'm sorry to say this, is to stop Musevenism. Because we are no longer working, or we are no longer following the nation. Take an example. Kenya, people were protesting on the road. But the president was asking the state to help him with what? With the soldiers. But they were asking him, you were asking them for what? Are you getting what I'm trying to phrase? So the problem here, those soldiers here in Uganda, they are no longer working for the nation. They are working for a person whom we know, all of us. So, and in Uganda here is where you find, let me say, Giso giving all of these orders. I'm telling you the truth. Because they have what we call order from what? From above. So, these motions, they are very good. But in Uganda here, we shall just talk on them. But before we stop that, to stop working for someone, corruption will stop. I'm giving you a live example here. In Mukono here, I think all of you know a guy called Ekon. Ekon wanted to build a city in Impunge, sub-county. But instead of buying land, the big people in the offices, they were saying, because corruption has ways, not only eating money, but also embossing people's land. It's also another way of corrupting people. Those big people are saying them, you go and build it on the other hill, forgetting that that hill has some people who are staying where? On it. So, before we stop those statements we make that order from above, if we stop them, corruption will end in Uganda. So, my colleague, I think that's the only medicine for corruption. I have few words to say. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable. We shall have Honorable William, and then Honorable Francis, and then Honorable Julie. In that order. And
thank you, Mr. Speaker, and the current House. I'm Honorable Muchibi Lawrence William from Wakiso, and the issue of corruption has really sparked my integrity, and I'm here to really tell you all, give you a small preamble about the corruption thing. First of all, as the previous speakers were saying, that corruption really doesn't have medicine. Because one is the people that are presumably fighting corruption, they're the ones that are even corrupt. That is one thing. So there is no way we can fight corruption. I can just give an example. He brought a very nice example of one of the commissioners that was alleged with 500 million shillings. But now the council that came up to fight him, for it requested for 496 million. So you can imagine, that one is taking 500 for you requesting for this, now it's corrupt. You can imagine. And just for collecting signatures, you can imagine, Mr. Speaker. That was one. Then, my humble submission on that is that at least we can have a transparent cash flow, such that when the government is assigning money, let that money be very transparent. Now, very few people even got to know about that 496 million that they requested for, just to collect for signatures to censure one person. Then we have also authenticity, Mr. Speaker. The authenticity in most of the ministries. I can just give a very good example of the Ministry of Works. Nowadays, most of the ministries, they work on what they call an appropriational budget. Do you know why? The appropriational budgets, someone comes, and Uganda is very blessed by that. We have very many good auditors that have really gone to school. Uganda has those auditors that can do that. But someone comes in the ministry, I can give an example of Ministry of Works, and they say, now for this kilometer, we can use this amount of money, but no, there we can't get money out of it. So they go for what we call a appropriational budget. They come and they estimate 1 kilometer, 7 billion, and they pass it. And when you go to fight them in court, they will say, we anticipated there might be a big rock around there. There might be a big rock. So if you find a big rock there, so who are we going to cry to? So they put that money there, and it has never been brought back, meaning they have always been finding big rocks around Uganda. So that is one. Mr. Speaker, I will also allow me to tell this current House that corruption, let me give an example of Parliament, the current Parliament. When the money is being released, I was talking about the point of authenticity. You cannot imagine this current budget, the biggest proportion was given to something called others. The biggest amount was given to something called others. So now we are no longer looking at these small things. These people are not looking at, you want to enter an office, give me something. No, that's not the corruption now they're looking at. They're looking at very huge sums of money. And I don't think there is any medicine, as I stated earlier. Because if you budget the biggest amount of money to go to something called others, then I don't know where this country will go. Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker.
thank you very much. The order. Honorable Francis.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker, and the entire House. Good afternoon. I'm Muganga Francis from Rengo District here to defend the motion urging government to take immediate action to address the escalating corruption scandals in Uganda and to ensure the effective prosecution of those implicated to restore transparency and accountability to its citizens. I'm going to be so brief. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry. Right Honorable Speaker, I want us to draw attention to the 10-point program as it was addressed by Honorable Edon. If the government has failed to live up to its point of ensuring that corruption is out of Uganda, if the government, through its organizations, for example, the IGG and all other anti-corruption units, has failed to fight corruption, then it is high time we took another step. Which step then it is? In the first place, in my opinion, I'm so much disappointed that a full government fails to address one issue, the entire government. So what should we do? I suggest that in the first place, let thorough investigations be done against the allegations which are on board. Yes? Allegations have been brought up, but we don't know how they cease. They tell us about the corruption of 500 millions. We don't know how far they have gone. We are now hearing about those people on social media. I'm calling them allegations of 1.7 billions. Nothing is ongoing to ensure that actually a thorough investigation is done to come up with a report that is going to address all these issues. So in my opinion, they should come up with investigations to address, did these people really engage in corruption? And if they did so, then let them step out of the public offices that they are having. You cannot tell me that a public officer has been found all the evidences against him in terms of corruption. After all that, he still remains in the office. Then which example is he or the government giving to the people outside there? It is actually literally meaning that even me, when I get a chance, because the other person was got, nothing was done, I can still do the same. I believe if those people can be forced to step out of the offices that they are having, then it will give a very nice example to the rest of the people, and they will live up to their expectation. I'm going to give an example. In April 2023, Honorable Amos Lugolobi, the current Minister for Finance in charge of planning, was charged with corruption. You remember the Mabat saga, the iron sheet scandal that was supposed to go to Karamoja. Right now he's in office. After assuring us that indeed this person was involved in this scandal, he's still in the office. Then which government are we, and to what extent should we trust the government in as far as fighting corruption is concerned? So this brings me to a conclusion that if we are to fight corruption, then we need to ensure that we change the government because it has failed. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I beg to submit.
Thank you very much, Honorable. Honorable Julie, then you'll be next. In that order, I'll ensure that. And because of the fact that this is a very pertinent issue, I noticed that so many members of parliament want to submit. I will ask that we stretch the time beyond which we have to have this sitting and ensure that everyone's voice is heard. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. My name is of Nakaombe Juliet, and I'll put my emphasis on one point, whereby the guilty should be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. And I will agree with the fellow colleagues, whereby the only problem we have in Uganda is that the people who involved in corruption, they are given too much freedom. But the better solution would be if a person is found guilty, should be imprisoned, step out of the office, and serve the punishment. But the only problem we have here that these people, they do it knowing after getting there is nothing they will do. And at the same time they are given, they just by that shifted. If they find that you're being corrupt in Mukono, they take you to kyankwanzi. So I think there should be a fullest extent of the law. The law should work. And for example, for that minister, Honorable Golobi, but now he would have been in prison serving. But now he's in our office working. What are we giving to the rest? That continue doing what you're doing, there is nothing they will do for you. So I will conclude by saying that the only solution we have is to change from the top. Because these people, they are doing what they are doing because they know that the president will do nothing to us. Because even president is also part of this. And there is no way we can get out of this when the president is the head. So I will conclude by saying that the law should work, and if possible, we need to change this government. Thank you.
Thank you very much. There are very strong statements being made. And we do encourage that, by the way. This is a very safe space. As long as you argue with evidence. Honorable Fred Buranda.
Mr. Speaker, thank you. I want to say something. Mr. Speaker, fate is a double crosser. Mr. Speaker, I am not part of the people who are going to say that I hear we circumcise, that we do some sort of things. I am not part of those people. Mr. Speaker, we have the law. For me, my argument is, let's make sure that works. First, I want to be part of the few who will say somehow corruption has been fought in this country, but we need to do much. And we should agree it's there. One, back in the day, government used, you would easily go somewhere and pay some money. Even in private schools, our private schools, people who are bursars were taking people's money. But schools started saying, no, go and pay in a bank. That was a system. You get? Number two, government stopped using cash transfers. It went to EFT. There's no way you can get money from government if it is not through, even if you do what? Apart from people who are handlers of bags of money, I don't know where they get it from. I don't know about those things. But it's clear, if you have something with government, it is paid by EFT. We reached a point where we said, no, you people sit in offices and because it's a closed door office, so there's some corruption of sort that goes on. So we went for a mode of open offices. For those who have gone to URA, that system largely was built on that, how URA runs and all that. Then we come to the court, the anti-corruption court. I'm sorry, I shouldn't be sorry. I have some good experience in that court. I have followed cases in there, which are a little personal, but also how the court works. I want us to look into a problem, which all of you want to look into. Me, I like solution-based, not running ideas that we can't put on the ground. You get? So we advocate knowing what we're advocating for. There's a case I am following. It started in about 2010. Up to now, we haven't recovered money as government. But there are orders to that effect. So, but somehow I got to know that these people somehow are paying money now to the consolidated fund. But these are over 14 years of one single case. Something used to happen in the anti-corruption court, which is happening in the other courts. What you hear, the question of backlog. You could take 10 years to try a corruption official. But I want to thank that court. It is one of the most expedient courts. People are tried under a year. 1 year, you have judgment. because I was investigating at a point on a personal level to know what is this issue they call case backlog. But then I realized the anti-corruption court is moving steadfast on that, yet it doesn't have many people. By that, recently, Justice Tibulia has left. I think it's Jidudu that is there, and they must have added another judge. So 2 justices and other magistrates. But they have managed to handle the case backlog issue. I want to conclude, I know. Yes. Apologies, Mr. Speaker. So, let me conclude. Mr. Speaker, to conclude, there's a gentleman called Clarence Darrow. He was a lawyer. He represented a family of blacks that had entered a neighborhood that had whites. That neighborhood, by then, was saying blacks cannot stay with whites. So, one night, these whites attack this black family. Henry Sweet, for those who want to read the case, the people versus Henry Sweet. So Henry Sweet, because of that attack, they are moving out in self-defense. He shoots up and somehow he kills someone. So he ends up on trial for murder. Clarence Darrow, as he was stating his submission, he stated this because he was representing Henry Sweet. He said, these black Americans, these black people were made equal by the law. The law was already there to state that all people are equal. But man, fellow man, was saying, no, you can't stay close to me. The laws on corruption are there. We have the best Anti-Corruption Act. But it will take you and me, it will take good human beings to put that law in practice, to make sure we are not corrupt. It will take people. Because let me give you an example. I'm concluding, Mr. Speaker. Give me 1 second. 1 second.
You have 1 second.
Thank you. Mr. Speaker.
In conclusion.
In conclusion. Everywhere I go in a ministry, we are here. It is people I know. So if they said someone is corrupt here, then it would be someone I know. When I go to ministries, I find human beings. I don't find animals. The change starts with us. It starts by being better human beings. Then the best will come. Thank you.
Yes, Honorable Albert. Thank you very much for your submissions.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for this opportunity. I would proceed immediately to the motion. Guys, honorable members, let's wake up. Let's wake up. The day is tomorrow. As you all know, in this government, when they get you in a corruption scandal, the first thing they will ask you, whom did you annoy? Even before the court's prosecuting you. As you all know, this government is a product of corruption right from the head of the state. The head of state that we are having is the same person who told the IGG to go slow on the lifestyle audit on the people who are being corrupt, that they will take the money to other countries. Guys, let's wake up. The budget for parliament is abnormal. How can a speaker of parliament donate 1 billion to the Cancer Institute? Where is she getting the money? How can she donate 100 million to a circle? And after that, you prayed, you be like, so long as you're eating with your voters, you have a right to enjoy. Enjoy as much as you want. We are living in a country that is not being serious. Because right now, I think it was not right for the speaker to come out publicly and say that Honorable Namuju and those of Akamba, they were right to take that money from the Human Rights Commission because they shared it with the voters. If you're a country that is fighting corruption, that would not be expected from our leaders. So, honorable members, let's wake up. Tomorrow is the day. Article 29. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We shall have Honorable Nampera.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. once again to the House. I'm Nampera Miriam, Deputy Speaker, National Youth Parliament, Uganda. I'm a lawyer and Emeritus Vice Guild President, Glue University. Now, when we talk about corruption, it is a very pertinent issue, just like we see that the House is really burning. But one thing I would like to say is that democracy begins with you and I. When we speak of right from our home where we're coming from, how do you treat children of why maybe you don't share a mother or that little child? We may start right from there. So I'll talk about leadership and political will. The major challenge that we have is because most of us, if not all of us, and so are our leaders, we do view politics or leadership as a career, but not a service. Whereas these political positions per se, or the leadership positions, there would be opportunity for us to serve. But we go there with the aim of earning. That is why we have corruption cases. And it is so unfortunate that many people in those positions, per se some MPs, and not only MPs, but also in other big positions, they earn a lot, but still steal. And they're exemplary, which is actually affecting as far as primary schools, nursery schools. That is why you find nursery kids giving out sweets to get votes. That is why we find secondary schools, primary schools. There is one which was moving around on TikTok, and a primary 6 child had to bring, a very big vehicle to campaign, contesting for heady girl. So then, if the future is even in us, the young people, then where are we heading? May we be exemplary. Democracy begins with you and I. So we actually look at leadership, politics as, we need to look at it as an opportunity to serve. I don't want to delve much into that, but I hope my opportunity is seen. Perhaps we may not change our elders per se, but very soon, we are taking on office, or we have started. We can start from the little that we have to be the change that we have. When you look at transparency and accountability, the big fish versus the small fish, you may just go on Twitter or on Google and you put big fish, small fish, you get a lot about that. It is where we focus on the petty corruption scandals, looking at traffic or policemen getting those small ones, leaving the rest. We shall say that we push it to the judiciary, but then we shall come and ask, do we have the separation of powers and checks and balances indeed? We have the 3 arms of government. We have the executive, legislature, and then the judiciary. But then you find that we have MPs MPs, and they're also serving as cabinet members or ministers. So literally we have now mixed the legislature and the cabinet. And then now we have the judiciary, which judiciary is funded by the government. And their budget is actually discussed and passed by the legislature and the cabinet. Or there are also some appointments. So then how do we expect actually the judiciary to be really independent or to act? How do we expect the legislature to check and again balance itself when they're sitting in the legislature and in the debate? Maybe under cabinet, we need to think more about that. It is just an eye-opener. So we also need to take decisive actions against corrupt officials. We have the law. I'm concluding, right, Honorable Speaker. We have the law.
2 seconds.
We have the law, but it is just on paper. We have good laws, but it is on paper. What can we do to have it operational? Maybe then the hope is in us, the youth. I urge us to go and read the book, Why Nations Fail. I can't really discuss more about it, but just read that book, Why Nations Fail, then compare Egypt with Uganda. We shall really see as youths, and we shall wake up and take action. Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker.
Honorable members, I think you have taken note of the book. Have you taken note? So we shall have, let me see members who want to submit. We shall have the 4 of you and then 5 and then close. So Honorable Khalid. Please ensure that you're brief because we're running out of time.
Yes, I'll be very brief. Thank you, Mr. Speaker and the House. I didn't have plans of speaking, but the subject is really pertinent and important. So my name is Khalid Nawaf, and I'm a Ugandan. I've grown here all my life. And I know there's usually a question of, oh, yo, no, but I'm a Ugandan. So, I'm sorry to say, for lack of a better phrase, and because I have to be brief, everything in this country is wrong. Everything in this country is becoming a joke. The country in itself is becoming a joke. Because we don't take things serious. And it starts with the smallest of things, and it grows and grows and grows and becomes bigger. So it's a country that needs, for lack of a better phrase, sort of a radical surgery. Everything needs to be changed. The system has to be changed. Everywhere has to be touched and twisted. Because as things are, as things stand, everything is wrong. Even in this room, the corrupt ones are there, in their own way. Some of them even came here and spoke. But
Honorable member.
Okay,
I
sorry.
need to protect my members of parliament.
Okay, apologies, Mr. Speaker.
So please retract that statement.
Apologies, Mr. Speaker. Apologies, Mr. Speaker. But members have given in. We've had honorable members coming here to say there's no solution. It means you've submitted to the vice. It means you've given up. It means you're also going to be bribed at a point because you believe there's no solution. If I don't steal, someone will steal. That's what you mean by giving in, by saying there's no solution. Because if you don't have a solution, it means the problem will remain. Even you, when you go into that office, you will steal. That's what you're trying to mean, indirectly, of course, not directly. So that means even the youth are being affected. They now have the mentality that I have to get somewhere, somehow, somewhere. Yeah, so, and it all comes in because the country is becoming a joke each passing day. Each passing day, no one takes anything serious. People just talk, 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 and that's it. And the more it happens, the more the country is affected. Where does the change start from? The change starts with us. For you to come and start and say that we are the change, I am not going to be corrupt, I am not going to accept the bribe. It starts with, if you don't do it and you accept that there is no solution, you are gone, you are finished. You've succumbed to the vice. So that's my call. I know people have said it, but I'll say it again. Let's try to remain. I know it's hard, but we can manage. Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker.
So thank you very much, Honorable Member. Due to time constraints, we shall not be able to finish with all the other members of parliament that wanted to submit. And we're going to head straight on into voting for whether this motion should be passed. So honorable members, you've had the different debates around this motion. What is your say? All right, the ayes have it. The motion has been passed. Let's proceed to the fourth and final motion.
Thank you, honorable members, for those submissions. But before we go into the last motion, we should remember that yes, the next national budget is going to be at around 72 trillion, not so? And as per the AG's report last year, they say that actually we lost over 10 trillion in corruption. So when we subtract 10 trillion from our national budget, we remain with 62. And when under 62, we remove 30% for debt servicing, debt payment, and then a paying of interests. That will go to around 25 trillion. So we shall be working on a budget of 45 trillion. I'll use the president's words. Then when you, what if you convict all the corrupt, whom shall we work with? That's the solution. On the last motion, 7.4, the motion urging NEMA to ensure a fair and transparent eviction process for the communities affected by the recent wetland conservation developments in Uganda. This is a very passionate motion that we need to deliberate on. It's going to be moved by Honorable Bwikira Victoria Denise.
Good afternoon, members. My name is Denise Victoria Bukira. Moving the motion 7.4, motion urging NEMA to ensure a fair and transparent eviction process for the communities affected by the recent wetland conservation developments in Uganda. I urge members to support this motion. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Bukira. Denise, without wasting any time, I'd like to request Honorable Elvis and Honorable Francis to come and second the motion.
Good afternoon to you. Hello. Good afternoon to you. My name is Segawa Elvis William, and I stand to second the motion calling upon NEMA for a more transparent and corruption-free eviction process. Thank you.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I'm Gang Francis from Rengo District, here to second the motion urging NEMA to censure a fair and transparent eviction process for the communities affected by the recent wetland conservation developments in Uganda. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Member. Let's have the move of the motion come and make arguments for this motion.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Once again, I'm Denise Victoria Bukira, moving the motion urging NEMA to ensure a fair and transparent eviction process for the communities affected by the recent wetland conservation developments in Uganda. So why should we adopt this motion? It is now a crisis in the country, especially in the central part of Uganda. We see people are claiming that they have land titles to the parts that they are being evicted from. So someone is saying they have land titles. Yes. We also see this in the case of Nyakana versus NEMA, where a court says that yes, you can have a land title. It gives you a land title, but it doesn't give you user rights. So now what should people do? What should people do? If they have the land titles, if you get a land title, you're supposed to go and you get, before building in an area, you're supposed to go and they give you the rights to build in that area. Yes? And people have done that. People have gone, they have got rights to build in those areas. And so now are they being evicted? Yes, it is, we should conserve the environment. That is true. We should conserve the environment. But are we as NEMA, where has it been as these people were building? These people have built their homes. They have gone ahead to pay the Busulu taxes. So where has NEMA been? Yes, we see there's a gentleman that came out recently on NBS, and he said he has been in his home for over 50 years. This gentleman is called Serunjoji. He has been in his homestead for over 50 years. His parents left him the place. Yes? And they are 11 children. So 50 years, NEMA has been there since 1995. And in 2024 is when they are coming to evict this gentleman. What is he supposed to do? Where should he go? He has been paying the Busulu taxes. are we saying, should we put the Buganda Land Board, should we get the Katikiro and put him on stand as to why these people have been paying busulu taxes and now are being evicted from their homesteads? Is it fair that people are being evicted from their homesteads and a petrol station like Starbucks is being left? How dangerous is a homestead in a wetland compared to a petrol station? Members of the House, how? In case, okay, a house catches fire, is the damage more than when a petrol station catches fire? Is it? Article 4 says,
Honorable Member, I beg that you summarize.
Article 4 says that government should be able to teach people and give people knowledge about different laws that are implemented. But has the government done that? This man that has been there in the wetland for over 50 years, he has been paying busulu. He has built rentals. Was he informed? Yes, President Museveni gave a speech and said that, yes, NEMA is to blame at a point because its members, its staff have been sleeping, but now that they have awoken, they are trying to implement these laws. And he said that, but it is also common sense to be not to build in a wetland. What common sense? If a person was given user rights to build in their home, has lived there for over 50 years, so what common sense are you? So should we put the Katikiro on stand and we tell him that he has no common sense as to why these people have been paying busulu?
Remember? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Once again, I'm Denise Victoria Bukira, and I urge members to move this motion. Thank you.
Honorable members, a motion has been placed before us, and it's now that time whether we decide we should, if we should debate this particular motion. What is your say in regards to whether we should debate it? Aye. The ayes have it, so the floor of Parliament is open. Now please note that we have been given only 30 minutes to summarize this motion, and I want to give priority to members of Parliament that have not spoken before. So, Honorable Segawa and Banis, and then we shall move on. You each have 3 minutes to debate this motion.
With due difference, Mr. Speaker, I petition to deliberate more on the motion about NEMA. Standing before you is Segawa Elvis William, and I'm from Mukono district, specifically the islands of Koome. The recent evictions of NEMA, okay, I'm very saddened, and I get emotional when it gets to things to do with livelihoods and families. We see that recently, on a village called Banda in Wakiso, more than 300 families were displaced. Where NEMA is now telling us, of course, we are supposed to be climate conscious, the environment and everything. We've had these stories, but you're evicting for who? We are the owners of this country, and everything that we are to do in this country must be moving around the people of Uganda. You are evicting me from where I've been for close to 30 years, and you are not giving me a solution of where I'm going to go. I have 4 children. You've thrown me out of my home. Moreover, destroyed it to the ground. And then you're leaving Starbucks standing. The question is, who, me, the person who has been living there for more than 20 years, and then Starbucks, who is exploiting the environment? Who is spoiling the environment more? Who is emitting more? Who is in charge of the ditches that are being dug? The household, or the police station and Starbucks. NEMA, much as it has made very much noise, around this time, NEMA has kept on doing these things over the years. We see that in 2021, NEMA evicted people in Kasoko. So these were vulnerable people, elderly people. We saw elderly people. We saw young children, people below the age of 5. And you're telling, you're not even telling him, you're like, go. And we saw after some time, a luxurious hotel pop up in that very land. And the very thing happened in 2018, whereby close to 200 families were evicted from Rela wetland. And we see that these people were not given an alternative place of residence to call home. You've come, you've told me move away, and you're not telling me where to go. I've been here, I've been to the same government that is paying you. I'm even paying you. You get? NEMA has kept on doing very, very many eviction drives over the years. We see the same story in Namwandi, 2021, where
You have 30 seconds. Please
okay,
summarize.
in Namwandi, whereby people were evicted and the land was later on taken up by some other person. And now we are seeing they are building another hotel in that very land. We see that in the islands of Komi, there are people that were removed from some wetland called over, I'm forgetting the name, but it was removed, and now we are seeing a palm oil industry popping up. Parliament, I'm giving now a solution. Parliament should put up, how should I call it? Should put up a task force that is going to look into the operations of NEMA over these years. These guys have been enacted since 1995 by an act of Parliament. But now, we are seeing these guys coming in 2024 to make sure people's lives are hell. Where should the Ugandan go? I've been living here for close to 30 years, and you're telling me, hey, bro, go. And it doesn't really make sense, right? So I'm calling up Parliament to put up a task force that is going to look into the operations. We need to know who we are going to fire. People are in offices doing nothing. We've been in an office for close to 20 years, silent, eating taxpayers' money, and
Thank you.
opportunity.
First, hold it. Point of information granted.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker, and the House at large. My name is Chinowere Andrew. First and foremost, I would love to inform the Speaker, current Speaker, and the House that evictions are not classified under disasters. It doesn't. So the Ministry of Disaster Preparedness does not have any issue to do with the evictions of NEMA. Then secondly, I would love the House to understand, and maybe it's going to guide the debate, because what we are talking about now is an issue pertaining climate change, and that is what NEMA is fronting. The effects that the settling in these wetlands, brings about. Yes, the evictions are unlawful, but then what is the end goal in each and everything? That is the fact that these settlements in the wetlands have a very big impact when it comes to the climate. So I think as we are debating, yes, we can talk about the solutions and everything and the government leaving Starbucks to stay in there, but what we should prioritize is the thought of the climate and what it does, because this is going to affect all of us, So I think the solutions that should be brought up and the solutions that we should suggest are solutions that should be premised on that factor that climate is a serious issue and it is changing very fast. It doesn't matter whether it is a small house, it doesn't matter whether it's Starbucks, it affects everyone. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for the point of information. You will take your seat after 1 second. Please summarize.
Okay, yeah. I'm talking about the same NEMA that is the Management Regulatory Authority. What happened to Namave? Who knows what happened to Namave? Is the forest anymore? We are seeing an industrial park. Why is the government prioritizing industrialization, economic growth, at the expense of the environment? These are the same people who are giving these people license to operate in forests, and the same people that are evicting people at the same time. My call is that these people need to be more accountable and transparent. That's it. Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Honorable Banis.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and the House at large. Before you is Natkunda Banis from Wakiso District.
I'll be supporting the motion that NEMA should implement policies that are more transparent. Why? Because, like Honorable Member Chinore Andrew presented before us, it's a question of climate change. But even with climate change being enforced, the people that are being evicted, these are their homes. So what can NEMA do? NEMA can actually give the people that are being evicted alternative housing solutions, yes? So that instead of living, because it presents a question of human rights. If someone is evicted from their house, where do they go? If a young child, because majority of the people living in these wetlands are people who do not sustain what I would call, who have high incomes. These are basically low-income earners, where the schools in these areas are not quite the best. So if the authority is moving these people out, what is it presenting to them? Because someone out there may say that all these people that are in the wetlands should actually be restoring them, because that's what the act says, that if someone is in this wetland, then they should be working on restoration of that part where they have been. But no, in the event that government has realized we have this problem and we are trying to move towards climate action so that we have a better Uganda, then give these people relocation, give these people other schools after you've been displaced. Then the selective evictions, some of these evictions have been selected to just the poor. Like some have been saying, the small houses, we have left industries such as Mandela Millers in these wetlands. So why carry out selective evictions? Why not remove everyone, move these industries to other places? There is vast land in Uganda, so we can have these industries as well moved to places where they can be other than the wetlands. Thank you, Mr. Honorable Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member. I had said, so Honorable Albert and the gentleman after. Then we shall have the other Honorable Member.
Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker, for giving me another chance to appear here. So I would move straight on to the motion, urging NEMA to ensure a fair and transparent eviction process for the communities affected by the recent wasteland conservation developments in Uganda. First of all, before we urge NEMA to ensure a fair and transparent eviction process, we have to ask ourselves, who are these people settling in the wetlands? Let's first leave aside that what happened yesterday. If you're to find these are big factories, I can give you an example of Tiang Tiang, just as you're heading to Namang. That company is in the middle of the swamp. Seta High School, this side. We all know who owns Seta High School. It is in a swamp. Starbucks, the way route has become a problem to Kenya, Starbucks has become a problem in Uganda. In every swamp, you will find Starbucks.
Point of order granted.
Mr. Speaker, is it in order for the gentleman to prove shareholder value in the company that is in Uganda to allude it to Mr. Ruto? And if so, could he give us evidence to that effect?
Yes, it is not in order to speak out of evidence, out of the lack of evidence. So if you have
Mr. Speaker, my point was that the way Ruto...
So have you retracted the statement?
I still stand on my point. My point was, the way Ruto has become a problem to Kenya is the same way Starbucks has become a problem to Uganda. Because in every swamp, you're going to find Starbucks, Starbucks, Starbucks. Everywhere, Starbucks, Starbucks, Starbucks. And the same Starbucks has been left where they evicted people previously. So, before NEMA should ensure a fair compensation, they should look at protecting livelihoods. There was a very old woman who has been settling there for some good time. But this woman was evicted. She was not given a notice. She had gone for burial, coming back, no house, don't know where your plate is, you also span. So how do you expect this woman to start a new life on the streets? So
in summary, I will not grant it. We are out
in
of
summary,
time. In summary,
NEMA should uphold the law, ensure the eviction process is conducted in accordance with the national and international laws, including the Uganda Constitution and the human rights instruments. Because if we don't put this in place, that's how we shall keep on evicting each and every one. As we're evicting these people, let's also look at the kids that are in swamps. Let's look at the factories that are in swamps. Right now, I think central Uganda is running out of wetlands. So if we don't put this in place, it will be a big problem to this country.
thank you very much.
Just
There's an honorable member that was seated behind Albert, and then we shall have Honorable Miro.
Thank you. Right Honorable Speaker, the honorable members in the House, I greet you all. I'm Albert Atwine, representing Mukono district. To me, on the motion in question, I feel like it's more of an emotional based, and it should be decided upon the emotions of the people. The honorable colleague before me mentioned that we should listen and we should note the people who are occupying these wetlands. These are people who are subject to rural-urban migration. An example is in the Luvigi wetland, where they disrupted over 10 schools that were providing education to over 1,500 students and over 214 households. So, and we see our constitution in the national objectives that the government is actually allowed to perform some activities so that it realizes development of the country. So that's in a way that different factories and different entities are taking up the wetlands. However, I urge that the government should be transparent in this, that they should protect the emotions of the people. For example, these schools that were evicted, that were providing education to the people, those students are emotionally stressed. It's going to rise up the different diseases that we see in the Western world, such as depression, anxiety. Yet normally Africans, we don't really suffer that. And as we see the population of Uganda, it's about like the 5%, or the biggest percentage is illiterate and poor. This is our solution. The solution, as I look into the previous motions and submission by the honorable members, I took them up and educated myself that all these have to be incorporated so that we realize the solution to the eviction of these, such as that corruption, in that even when they're providing alternative housing to the different people who are being evicted, you can't. Thank you. I submit.
Yes, we had Honorable Miro.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Mine is a humble invitation to members, honorable members, to think about a question. A gentleman once said that evil triumphs when good men do nothing. And Uganda has not run out of men of honor. I believe that at a certain point, good behavior divorced from good politics. And now we find ourselves in a situation, in line with all the motions we have debated today, where bad behavior is good politics. So let's ask ourselves that question. Sometimes bad behavior is good politics, and the head of state knows this. He knows that the things you call him out for, on one end, score him. He gets a political score on one end. So it's a question for us, future leaders, aspiring leaders. How do we then reconcile good behavior with good politics? Because as it stands, bad behavior is good politics, and we live in a state. Thank you.
Thank you very much for being precise. We have Honorable Biblia, but I am requesting that we have at least a lady be the closing debater for this motion. So Let's have Honorable Biblia.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Once again, my name is Musasizi Biblia from Wakiso. Yes, one of the biggest districts in Uganda with just around 36. Use